Hey, what's going on? This is Sunshine.
And E.
All right, what's going on? But hey, what's it time for?
It's time for story time.
That's right.
Yep. Story time it is.
Story time it is. You know, I was there's a group that I like. Had a little hard time finding out who it was because it's like a domino thing where I seen them on the show. I was like, who is that? And I kept trying to find them. I looked on TV and finally I asked the guy and I described it to this guy. And the guy said, hey, you know what that group name is? I said, what? He said, the Blues Travelers. I actually went to see them in concert. But they split up. I think they got back together. But anyways, there's a song that they sung where they give these different situations that are going on. And the name of the song is 100 Years. And the premise is, after explaining all these different situations, he said it won't mean a thing in 100 years. And so, you know, when I thought about that, I said, wow, I think about that. Like you think about the 60s, the stuff that happened in the 60s, go back 100 years. That's around the same time Lincoln was assassinated, 100 years before that. So you think in 2065, how different things would be from 1965. So there is some truth to it, the fact that it won't mean a thing in 100 years. Things are so different. You could look at a paper in 1865 and totally different from the paper a few years later, 100 years later. So that's the scenario. It's based on where we are. And this is the question. Would you rather, if you had the opportunity, and I guess we got to put a little cap on it because it's kind of like getting to the time travel. And let's say we'll give you 6 months. Would you rather spend 6 months, 100 years in the future, or 100 years in the past? Now you have to put that in perspective. Right now this is 2021, so that'd be 1921. Which is kind of weird when you think about it, because I actually had a grandmother that was born in 1919. So 100 years ago, which would have been 1921, she was living at that time. So when you put in perspective, there's wow, that going back, going forward, don't know. So which would you prefer?
It's a little difficult. I would have to say 100 years in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Only based on, if I'm going based on history of what happened or the things that occurred 100 years ago.
Okay, I see where you're going.
So, hoping a lot has changed, but some things have not.
Okay.
So, hoping that it would be maybe a little different, even more so.
So your answer could probably change if you're a different person. Because that's safe to say that if you were a different person, maybe your choices may be a little different if you was the different person.
It could.
Okay.
It could.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it could change.
Plus, you'd like to pick where, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, if it was 100 years ago and you were in a different country or a different part of this particular United States,
that might matter.
That may matter too. Yeah.
That might matter.
Yeah.
So, so I would pick go in the future.
Go in the future. Now, I thought about that, and the only thing that I would really want to go to, now one of my favorite movies is Back to the Future. And if anybody watched Back to the Future, the second movie, that would be the only reason why I want to go back 100 years and get a, oh no, I guess I got to go in the future for that. Well, I can go back. Well, I can go back in the past, go into 100 years ago. Well, that wouldn't be no good. I don't know if it's, because what I was going to say is like the guy, he went in the future and he got an almanac from the future, and when he went back to where he could bet on everything, and that's how he became rich. But I guess if I went to the past, no, that'd be the. But see, I would
what
just
to do with you. What
I
to
would
do
just
with
don't.
you.
I would enjoy the simpler life. Just seeing how people and to be tell people for 6 months how things may end up being. But I'm a little bit like you. I think I'm more like you, where I would rather do the future. And I guess I get the almanac then, and then I come back now, and I can really rake up. Yeah. But anyways, I would want to go in the future because I'm a person that really like the newness of things. It doesn't have to be spectacular, just the newness of it. It's like when we travel, sometimes we just get up and I like to go to a restaurant I've never been to. It's like, I never heard of that restaurant. Let's go and check that out. Or, go to an area that I've never been to, check out the environment or whatever. So I like the newness of things. So I think going to the future will be my pick because, like I said, I like to see things I haven't seen. The only difficult part about that is you understand if you go 100 years in the future, and put this in perspective. Mm-hmm. Let's say you're a person that's going to make the decision, I'm going to go 100 years in the future for 6 months, and you have a brand new newborn baby. He's not going to be around by that time, most likely, unless he lives over 100 years old. Mm-hmm. So that might be hard to take all the people that were around with you that will be gone. Probably no one in your family, if you go 100 years in the future, will you know. You could tell them about the family before, but you'll probably know none of those people in the 100 years in the future. So you got to put that in perspective. If you show up at a family reunion, you're not going to know anybody for the most part. Because you're going 100 years. How many people?
Well, yeah, I mean,
you'll know the offspring,
right?
But you won't know
you'll
anybody.
meet the offspring. You won't know them.
Yeah, that's true. You'll meet them. Well, that's what I meant. But you would meet them, but you wouldn't know anybody at that family reunion.
I mean, and a lot of times that's the case anyway. You go to a family reunion, you're like, and you're whose child, and you're who?
Yeah,
but for the most part, if you don't have regular
that's probably
reunions,
but you're probably going to know more people than you.
Not.
Well, there's a good possibility that you, like you said, you hadn't met anybody, but you was like,
you probably know more people than not. That's what
I'm saying. You said more. I mean, that means That means more people you know than you don't know. But there's a possibility. I think you know less people than you don't know. But yeah, so those are the only things I would worry about would be issues and going in the future. Is that there's a lot of stuff that you're not going to have any personal connection with anybody at all. So you would just be able to tell people about it, and then they might try to put you in a nut house for the 6 months because you tell them things that like, what? Who's this crazy lady?
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be going to tell people. I'm there observing that time frame.
I mean, you just gotta think of it. You can go to the future and meet your grandson or daughter, your children's child that's 80 years old.
Right. But you know what? And there's one thing about my side of the family is that we have really strong genes. So we know who you can look at. You're related to so and so and so. We can tell the relationship. So I mean, I probably wouldn't tell them who I was. It just, because if it might mess things up. I don't know.
I don't know. You're in the front end of that. You're in the front end of it. So, baby, like I said, they just look at you like, oh. But if you start coming up with information that, like if you had a grandson, I knew your father. That was my son. He was this and that and other. Yeah, that sounds like my dad. Because you know, and especially if you bring back this primitive iPhone. What do you got? Oh, it's iPhone 352 right now. Let me show you. What's that piece of junk you got there? But let me show you these pictures. So, but that'd be my guess.
Yeah, we got little things that to your eyes, so Yeah,
But it's funny because I think we watched a movie lately, or I seen a preview for a movie, and I think it was a preview for a movie, and it was an older movie or something. It's like, what year is it? 2021. I think we watched the movie, and it was mentioned 2021 where they're supposed to be flying or whatever. Was that in Back to the Future too? Was that Back to the Future? It might have been Back to the Future. I don't know, but they was talking about them flying cars. So we really didn't progress as much in some areas as we thought we were, but other areas we were just like leaps and bounds, just going crazy.
Right.
But you all let us know.
No, I got it. No,
Oh,
I
you
got
something?
one.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay,
got something.
okay,
Let me
okay.
before you
Okay.
close this out.
Okay.
I want to participate too. Okay, so you're born.
Yeah, that's what you tell me.
Baby.
You told me that.
All right, and your mother named you what she named you.
Okay.
And you had an opportunity to change your name.
Mm-hmm.
You may like your name as it is. I don't know if you do or not. But if you had an opportunity to change your name, is there a particular name that you would select to be called?
Okay. Now, as far as name, I don't have an issue with a name. As far as changing names, I always wonder why some people. That's why how you feel people really have a connection with their family. Because I know some people. Like I had a guy, and everybody probably has a person in school that had a crazy name. I had a classmate. His last name was Quackenbush. But no one would ever change their name because they feel like it's probably disrespecting the family. Now, I'm sure there's people who have changed their names, especially first names, if they didn't like it. But I always thought, why wouldn't they change it? That person should not be offended because they really wanted to change it. But the only reason they did it, they didn't want to be disloyal to the family. But everybody wanted to change it. So I'm like, once you change, it seemed like okay, I understand because I really want to too. So, because there was one, I knew, I said a true story. I had a cousin, he said there was a woman that they had her last name was Pig, and she named her kid Alma and Yura.
Why?
True story.
Why?
I'm a pig, you're a pig.
I knew a girl,
which is true.
Before you give your answer, I knew a girl who I worked with several years ago, and I can't remember her first name, but her last name was Ham.
Mm-hmm.
And she was engaged to be married, and his name was Burger.
So
true story. True story.
Now she'd be all right if she just don't do the hyphen. She's good.
Yeah, but and it was a joke that went around the office.
Wow.
And yeah, so it was like, oh, you're gonna be Hamburger.
Yeah. See, I don't have one of them names where that I feel like, ooh, I wish I would change. I don't have really a simple name, and it's just gotta live up to the name. It's not one that I gotta live up to this name. It's just I make the name or whatever, So it's not one of those names. But if I did change it, here's what my name would be. And the only reason why I would change it is whenever I had an alias, this was my alias name.
Oh, wow.
And I stuck with that same one because if you're going to do alias, you got to keep remembering it. Mm-hmm. So mine's was Eric James. That was my alias. When somebody asked my name, and I didn't really want to give my name, not far as cops or anything, just if you meet some people and it's like, I don't want to, Eric. My name is Eric. What's the last name? James. Eric James. And I try to pick a name that was simple to spell, and just a simple name. So it was Eric James. So if I ever have to change my name, I would change it to EJ, Eric James. That'd be me.
Wow. The only name that I could think of, and my mother was actually going to name me this name, and I like my name. My name is okay, but the name she had selected at first, I was like, "Ooh, why you didn't?"
And I think I know that. I think I know. If I think I know it, it's weird when it comes to names. Well, go ahead. I think I know which one it's going to be.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Did I tell that story before or something?
I don't know. I mean, I can't necessarily recall the name. I know if I hear it, I know that's what it is. I don't
know. But anyway, the whole time she just was going to be my name, and I guess at the last minute she changed it, and it was Alicia.
Oh, okay. What? No. I'm thinking of something else then.
It was Alicia, but I don't know how she was going to spell it, but she didn't want people calling me Alice.
Oh. So
that's the only reason why she changed it. Last minute. That I know it was last minute. I just know that was going to be my name, Alicia.
So if she did name you that, and we had a second daughter, she would have been named that?
Alicia?
Yeah. Because that's the name we was gonna have a second daughter. That's the name we came up with.
I think
Sierra,
so.
Alicia Sierra or something like that.
Yeah, sure did.
And we were gonna name her that. So I guess if you were named that, you probably wouldn't have. You probably picked something else, probably.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I kind of no. It was another name that I was thinking about, and I think sometimes you relate the name. Some of them relate the name with the person. That if you know, especially if it's a. What was that name? There was a name that you said you liked that somebody had. It was kind of what was that name? Oh, I can't remember, but that's what I thought you was gonna say. Like, oh no, I didn't really care for that.
I wish you could think of it, because I don't know.
Not Jamila, not Jamila.
Oh, I did.
Is it Jamila?
Yeah, that is my Islamic name. My family.
I think
I had Muslims
not that I had
in my family.
I think I know some. I think that's it. But I think I knew somebody, and I was like, but that's the only person. See, like when we named our son. One of our sons, we named him, and the reason why I was on board with that name, and I came up with it, every person that had that name was good guys that I knew. I didn't know a lot of them, but the ones that seemed like decent names, I was like, okay, I can give him that name. Because we didn't go out the box and go crazy with his name, but crazy with his name. But we gave him that name, and I really was backing that name because it was a name that wasn't, I didn't relate it with certain people. And there's certain people that there's issues that came up, even though I was disconnect with that person, I still just had that soiledness to it that I couldn't name my kid that or anything.
Yeah, but I like that name. I also like Jamila.
Yeah, I think it was Jamila.
And it was someone came over to my aunt's house. I was at a friend's house, a schoolmate, and I remember I was getting my hair done. Actually, the one who gave me that name wound up marrying my uncle. And I was getting my hair done, and she came in and she said, "Oh, and give your name," and she named me Jamila, meaning beautiful. And she said, "You look like what?"
No, I'm just funny. Not fun, no, the funny part is to me is because the person I knew with that name. If you had to go beautiful and ugly, boop, I'm looking at ugly, and it's only because of that person.
You mean the other person?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because of that person. So when I hear that name, you go, "Oh, it means beautiful." I was like, "Really?" Yeah. But
Yeah. So, well, anyway, I do like that name, and I did. When I was around that group of people, I would answer to that name.
Yeah, there was some cool names that I like. There was one that somebody had. I said, that's kind of cool name. A lot of foreign names are cool to me, like Amir. I like for some reason Amir.
That I was like cool Amir. Name.
Not Amir. Amir. There was a guy. His name was Amir.
Oh, Amir.
Amir. I said, it's kind of cool.
I thought you said Amir.
No. So some cool names, especially foreign names, have a little shake to them. I kind of like some of them, but that would be mine. So you said yours is Alicia, right?
Alicia.
Okay, yeah, mine would have been Eric James EJ. That's me. But that like I said, that's my little undercover name. But yeah. But y'all tell you what y'all tell us what you think about the 100 years going back or going forward, or even if there's somebody out there that has a name they want to change their name for whatever reasons. I understand sometimes juniors want to change the name based on what senior did. Sometimes it's issues like that. But, it's all good. It's what you make out of the name, which is some of the most, prominent people or really well-known people have simple names. We say simple names. It's not out-the-box names, so we put that way, because a lot of people put a lot of energy in coming up with some of the names like, wow, how'd you come up with that? And it's kind of unique. But a lot of people that really done great things, just straightforward names. So, but y'all let us know what you think. But before we go, do me a favor, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also share. In this case, please comment below. And I do believe that's it.
That is it. Thanks for following Sunshine and E.